G'day guys, welcome to this episode of Aussie English. Today I have the pleasure of chatting with my beautiful wife about our recent adventure to my grandparents' farm. So I wanted to tell you all about it and kind of share the experience that I had there, showing my wife all around the place when I was a kid, and growing up there. It was an amazing experience, and I wanted to show her that before Noah was born. So we sit down for today and have a bit of a chat about that. I want to mention too that I have made a Walking with Pete episode whilst I was at the farm, talking about what the place is like and what it was like there for me as a kid growing up, hunting down animals and, running around looking for lizards. So if you want access to that, make sure that you are in either the Aussie English classroom or that you are signed up to the premium podcast, because this will be a members only episode. So get on there, guys. And remember, in the Aussie English classroom, you get access to all my other courses, my other content. And I've in fact just posted the effortless phrasal verb course in the Aussie English classroom, guys. So go there, aussieenglish.com.au. You can sign up for $1 for your first 7 days. Give it a go. You got nothing to lose. Anyway, let's get into today's episode, guys. All right, Kelly, what's going on?
Not
Good
much.
morning.
Good morning.
How you feeling?
Just woke up.
Just woke up. I've dragged her in here to do an episode today about the farm before we obviously forget about the experience. So last weekend, what did we do last weekend, Kel?
We went to your grandparents' farm. It's a Bendigo?
Yeah, it's near Bendigo. Yeah. Exactly. So I wanted to take Kel there because I grew up there. Well, I didn't grow up there, but I grew up going there when I was a kid, right? So I would go there, a few times a year. And it used to be an amazing experience because my grandfather had sheep on the property, and he would get everyone to come up to the farm to help him deal with the sheep. So a few times a year we'd need to go up in order to worm the sheep. So they had to be given a medicine to avoid or to kill this parasite that was in their stomach, like worms or something. And so he would have to put them in like I don't know what you would call it, little lot, right? Fenced off lot. And one by one, he'd have to spray this medicine down their throat that they would swallow, and it would kill the worms. And then on top of that, we would have to go up in November at the start of summer to shear them. And so we would all have to help out. And I gave you a tour of the shearing shed where the sheep would get pulled into the shed. They would be waiting there, and then a shearer would pull one of them out and shave effectively, or shear all of the wool off it. Yeah. Let the sheep go, and then we would have to sort the wool, and that would be something my grandparents would sell as just a sort of hobby thing. But I remember telling you all about it and showing you the areas, and it was such a really cool community kind of event that I really remember fondly, because we used to all go up there. My extended family, my grandparents, cousins, my parents as well, my sister, we were all involved, and there were lots of people around.
Yeah. And sorry for interrupting.
No,
Did you enjoy it at the time, or is it now that you are obviously a grown up and you look back and you're like, that was such an important part of my life? I
think if you'd asked me at the time, I probably would have said that I like going to the farm, but that I didn't necessarily like being involved with the shearing, because I was like, I mean, I like doing bits and pieces, but I think as any kid, you'd be bored after a while of doing the same thing.
And you get given a job, and you want to play, you want to run around, and you don't want to have a responsibility, right?
That's it. So I think I was spending a lot of my time running around, lifting rocks, looking for snakes and lizards and stuff. That. And I was showing you that as well. But yeah, that was something that I would do. I don't know how many times my grandparents did that. How many years? Probably less than a decade, but there were quite a few times from probably the age of 5 to 12 where we went up every single year multiple times. And it was really cool because as you would have seen when you were up there, we lived in this log cabin that my grandfather built. So
that was the best.
Yeah, he bought this house that was in pieces effectively. Like it was what's the word for it? A house that you buy and then you have to build it yourself, kind of like Lego, right? So you get all of the components, but
Yeah.
you have to organize the concrete being poured
Okay.
in the right dimensions, and then he himself literally put the house together.
That's
although
awesome.
he'd bought the pieces for the house.
That's great.
A
At the
kit house, right?
Kit
It comes in a
house.
kit.
Ah, kit.
Yeah, like
Okay.
a set, a kit.
Oh,
A
cool.
kit house. Yeah, so he built that. And it's there's like an open fire.
It's awesome. I
Yeah, it
love
was really cool. And there's no electricity. So that was something that I used to remember fondly. We had candles everywhere. At night, as soon as the sun went down, you'd have candlelight, but you couldn't do things really like read very well because the candlelight was pretty poor.
It was funny because your mom was trying to, improve our conditions there. Like she got LED lights.
LED lights, yeah.
And you were like, what? Mom, candles. Like that's the whole point.
You're ruining the ambience, the atmosphere. Because I think too, the yellow light, like the firelight, is much more calming, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas if you have LEDs, it tends to be like white or blue light.
It's really, really bright.
Yeah, it's sort of like how you have computer screens, and nowadays they go yellow at night when you're working, sort of automatically. If they're not yellow and they're white, it kind of leaves you a bit, awake and sort of...
Yeah.
But so what was your experience? What did you think of it?
I loved it.
Was it what you expected, or were you expecting something completely different?
No, I to be honest, I didn't have many expectations about the farm. I knew, because you've been telling me about it, quite a lot of times. I knew that it was an important place for you guys as children, you and your sister. And I was curious to see the place, like the house and the fire and everything. It was really, really cool. I can't imagine how important it was, like for you growing up, having this get together with your family. It was really nice. I have never had something similar. I think the closest I got to it was my dad has always been really, how can I say it? Really willing to get away on weekends from like work in the city and everything. So he got this property, which is like 30 minutes from his house, where there's a swimming pool and there's a barbecue and things. And he's been improving the place, slowly over the years. And there's no connection, there's electricity, but no internet connection or anything.
Yeah.
But I was already a grown up, I was probably in my 20s when he got it. And for me, it was like, oh my God, I have to go to this place where there's nothing to do. And I'm not really a big fan of swimming pools or anything. And but because of your experience in the farm, I'm not and because I'm away from my family, I'm not that was, such a good chance to chat to him and to be around family. And now, obviously, I can't do it easily because I'm in Australia. So, I really, really enjoyed going to the farm and seeing everything you guys were doing a while back.
It is funny like that. I think at the time, it's always, as a kid, if you were to ask any child in that situation, they'd be like, I want the internet, I want my Game Boy, I want my PlayStation, I want my friends. But looking back, you sort of see it through rose-colored glasses where you're kind of like, that was actually really good and it was very important to do that and have that time away. And I think it's going to happen more and more, right, in the future where those moments without technology become more and more important.
Yeah.
Because I was doing that in the 90s, which would have been just as the internet was coming through,
Imagine
right?
now.
And nowadays, it must be really, really, really difficult to get kids to disconnect from any kind of technology or whatever.
Not only kids, even for me, sometimes I'm like, where's my phone? I need to check, I need to see if I have a notification. And it was good to be not that I didn't touch my phone, but I wasn't really into it. I was like, okay, I want to see the fire. I want to, walk around and do things. So
the problem is now that the farm has reception.
Yeah.
So nowadays it's not amazing, but you can get reception on your phone and still check things.
It's good enough for you to be like, okay, I got an important email from work or whatever.
Yeah. I admit I was still checking my phone from time to time as well and doing things. But
I loved it.
Yeah, and it's funny because of the smells and everything as well. Like a lot of those smells I hadn't smelt for 10 years or whatever. And as soon as you get back in there, you're like, oh, that takes me back. And you remember instantly like what it was like being a little kid in this area. And the open fire, man, we need to get somewhere where we have like an open fire.
Oh, so relaxing.
Yeah.
Do you have this feeling that things when you were a kid were much bigger?
Yeah.
Did you have this feeling there? Like,
yeah.
wow.
Was I talking to you about that recently?
Yeah.
Where I was saying that I can't remember what the context was, but I was having that conversation with you about how things... Oh, when I went to my grandmother's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember talking about it with you. We went recently to my grandmother's house. She passed away. She died when I was 12. And I remember saying to Kel when we went and had a look at the house, which is still standing there in Beaumaris in Melbourne, but except it's really run down, falling apart, and the garden's overgrown. Yeah, it's abandoned. But I remember saying to Kel, far out, this place is tiny. I remember it being huge because I was a little kid growing up here and playing in the driveway. But then when you go there as an adult, you're like, everything's really small. So yeah, it was sort of like that with the farm, I guess, to some extent. I remember the bunk beds being more spacious.
Definitely, because you were tiny.
So we were sleeping... to describe the cabin for you guys, it's effectively a rectangle. And at one end, you've got the sort of living room and the open fire right at the end of the rectangle. And then as you come in, you've got the kitchen and across or equal... How would you explain it? You've got the kitchen on one side, and on the other side, you've got my grandparents' bedroom. And then once you walk past the kitchen and my grandparents' bedroom, you get the bunk room, which is where other people can sleep, which is next to my grandparents' bedroom. And then you've got the bathroom and then the toilet next to the bathroom. Yeah. And that's pretty much the entire house. It's very small and cozy. Yeah. But... yeah, that's sort of the shape of it. And so the open fire is on all night and it warms up the entire place. Although I think that as you can sort of see through the log walls, you can kind of see the outside world. You know that it doesn't retain heat very well.
I wasn't really cold, to be honest. I was actually fine. And just to mention the same experience, like when you look back, when you visit places that you used to go when you were a child, and you imagine, and you think, everything was so much bigger. I remember I went to my primary school in St. Louis. I think I had to vote or something, but I wasn't living in the same suburb anymore for a while. I wouldn't go there unless I had a really good, reason. Yeah. So I had to vote. I was like an election president or whatever, and it was in the same school. And I was like, what? That's so tiny. And I remember being scared of, because I had this school and you had like another school in the same sort of area that were for the little kids. Yeah, and primary school. Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, this school was so far away. Like, it's like now it's right here. Like I can literally just like 5 minutes I'm there. So it's funny how our perception changes.
Oh, I had that as well recently. And that's so funny because it's exactly the same thing. The only time I go to the primary school I used to go to when I was a kid, which is in the town that we're now living in Ocean Grove, is when I have to vote. Because they open up the basketball court, the indoor basketball court at the primary school, and that's where everyone in Ocean Grove, the town that we live in, have to go, and they have to place their vote. So that's the only time I ever see the place. It's the same sort of thing where I remember being there until the age of, I guess, 12, and the place always seemed way bigger. Yeah, it's so interesting. Especially like playing on the basketball court. I remember being like, wow, the basketball court's so tiny because, I'm twice the size that I was when I was 12 or younger.
It's crazy how things change and we get older.
Yeah, but I think the best thing that came out of going to the farm this weekend was just realizing how important it is to try and get something like what my grandfather had happening, where it pulls the family together for a sort of common cause, where you have that everyone get together and let's work on something together so we feel like we've achieved something. Yeah,
but nowadays I think not many people have sheep or like those kind of activities are much rarer to happen. Like you go to work during the week and on weekends you want to stay home and there's no many reasons for you to get together with
Well, and
your
that,
family.
I still think it's important to obviously get together
Yeah.
and do barbecues, and we do that. But I really am nostalgic for those times where we were all working to achieve a certain task. So you were spending time together, you were having meals, you were hanging out, but there was also, okay, this is, you need to do this job, you do this job, the kids
Yeah.
can play, but everyone gets together. And it was for a prolonged period of time. So we would be there for several days all together as an
Yeah.
extended family, as opposed to just come and spend the afternoon at my house for 2 hours. And so that's made me really think about what can we do in the future to not necessarily have sheep and do the exact same thing, but what can we do where we're, you know, getting all of the family, extended family, to come together to work towards a certain cause in a certain place,
Yeah,
because
that's
that,
so hard.
I think it's so important to try and give that to our kids.
Yeah.
Because it was such a good experience for me. But
I think
I have to think about what we could do.
I'm always saying like Christmas in Brazil is such a big deal, like at least for my family. Although there are like some relatives that don't come and they live far away. But anyway, my mom's family usually gets together. And it's something like that. Like she cooks, I do something else, and then my grandma is cleaning. Like it's a one day, but it's one day that everyone, you know, gets together and just work together to get this party ready.
Yeah.
For, you know.
Well, and that's funny because I think my grandmother's always been that way, where she's very particular about birthdays in her immediate family, so her husband and her, as well as Christmas, which is usually at her place. And I think it's partly probably because of this feeling of, well, I'm going to work and make all these meals. People are going to come over. We're all going to have a good time. We're going to organize this thing and
Yeah.
work together to have this party. It's a lot of sharing and spending time together. I remember seeing her always emphasizing the importance of these events and not understanding that as a kid. I was always like, oh, I don't want to go to another family event. I don't want to do this. But
know.
looking back, you realize, man, that was actually really important.
And you need someone to keep keep things going, right? If she's like, I'm not doing it, like, who's,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Well, everyone just goes off in their own
Yeah,
directions, right? And
absolutely.
is no longer being pulled together for the
Yeah.
common, you know, those common events.
I think fatherhood's hitting you.
I don't know. That's going to be interesting. What are we,
Yeah.
a month away?
A month away. But it's interesting to see like how we tend to value and appreciate things that we're not necessarily able to do anymore as you get older. And I have that all the time. And I'm seeing you like thinking about those things and trying to come up with an idea to get your family together. And so your kids and your sister kids, and so they will have the same precious memories when they grow up.
Well,
It's really interesting.
That was a big reason for coming back to Ocean Grove, I think. Like, I didn't ever think I would come back to Ocean Grove and want to live here. But then I saw that you were in Australia, you didn't have family, and I thought it's important for you to get to know my family. So, I mean, we could move away, like we spent 6 months in Canberra.
Yeah.
We could spend more time, you know, somewhere else in Australia on our own. But aside from obviously having to battle to survive ourselves
True.
by ourselves and make new friends and get a new support network, you wouldn't get to know my family as well.
Yeah. And with a baby, it's so important for me to be around your parents and your sister. Although I think the Australian family is much less invasive than a Brazilian family. So they are really polite, like, oh, can I come over? They always...
They'll give you space.
Yeah. Or, I mean, whereas my family would be like knocking on your door at 7 a.m. like, you had a baby?
That sounds like the TV show Everyone Loves Raymond, where the mum would always just, they lived across the road from one another, and the mum would just walk in.
Just absolutely. But I love that we are very close here, and, you know, we'll be able to share Noah's childhood with them, like from a very, very close perspective, and they'll be able to stay with him as much as they want. It's so
Assuming
good.
we stay here.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anything could happen, right?
Yeah. I think we'll stay here for a couple of years. I don't know.
It'll be interesting, but it was something I was thinking about. It was the main reason I wanted to be here, and even that we rented this house, because we're about 150 meters away from my parents and about the same away from my sister's house. Like, if a comet struck Ocean Grove in this area, my entire family would be wiped off the face of the earth. But I made an active effort to try and be close to all of them because I kind of lamented the fact that when I was a kid, I never got to grow up close to cousins because my family lived a long way away, probably an hour and a half away from everyone else in Melbourne, where my mother's parents and my father's parents lived and all my cousins and everyone else. So I got to see them a few times a year, but I never got to really get to know them as friends.
Yeah.
And so I wanted that for Noah, at least, to potentially do that with my niece and future children from my sister. To be good friends.
Yeah, it was the same for me. Like, I didn't have any contact. I mean, I had contact with my cousins, but
not on a daily basis.
Yeah, and the other on top of that, my parents are divorced.
Yeah,
so
it was even further separated out.
Yeah, we would get together like once in a year or something, just like when I was visiting my dad, and that was it. So we've never really been friends or anything. Yeah.
I know, it is funny how family becomes more and more important the older you get.
Yeah.
And it's probably the same for all you guys listening to us. I mean, you probably understand it better than I do because a lot of you have moved to Australia on your own or in small families and have had to sort of eke out a living on your own, right, away from your family.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys understand as much, or if not more than me, how important it is to, cherish your family.
Definitely. I don't know. I have a funny relationship with my family. I was trying to explain that to you yesterday. You don't see me calling them all the time. And like, I have to share this with my mom or things like that. It's not that we don't love each other. It's just different and distant.
I'm sort of the same with my parents to some extent. I don't really call them very often. We have like a family Facebook group where we all chat in there, and if we're going to organize an event, we'll tend to just organize it in there, or maybe they'll call me on the phone, but I think because we live so close now, I don't really call my parents and just talk to them, I'll talk to them when we're in the same place, if we're going to have a conversation about something or about, Noah or family or whatever. But yeah, it is funny. I meet some people who do definitely have that kind of relationship a lot more with different members of their family, where they're on the phone to them every week for long periods of time.
My friend Beatrice in Sydney, she was like, the other day I sent her a message and she took ages to reply. And she was like, oh, sorry, I was on the phone with my parents. And I was like, that's so interesting because she's an adult, obviously, and she's like, I need to call my parents on a daily basis and see what the hell.
Daily?
Yeah.
Far out.
They speak, they always chatting, and she's pregnant. They come in here.
I can imagine that's different when you get pregnant as well, because, you probably, especially if you're in a different country.
Yeah.
But
so for me, it's like, I would love to bring my parents here, like my dad, he would love it. But, and we have plans, like he mentioned that the other day that he'll, help us out, and maybe we can go to Brazil in December or something. But it's just not the same. I don't know how to explain that to you. It's just not the same. And it would be good to be there with them, because we are very useless when it comes to keeping contact over the phone or like Skype or anything. We just like we hate it, and no one wants to put the effort into it. So it would be good to be in the same city, in the same place, and you can see if you like them.
Well, fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed they like me.
They like you. They love you.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Bye.